Hey everybody, hope you've been good. I know it's been a little while, but I'm back with some very interesting hardware, like usual, with the weird stuff that you've never seen. Now, this video is going to be a little bit interesting because I am actually at the final stage and I'm starting the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys this quickly, and then I'm going to cut this video and insert some photos with kind of a voiceover of this machine here. And then I will conclude with this clip that I am currently recording, kind of like a YouTubeception. So anyway, I wanted to build a machine, that, first 30 seconds I already knocking my tripod around. I wanted to build a machine that can utilize a bunch of legacy Compaq hardware, but it's a quote unquote newer machine, and this is what I came up with. Now, just looking at this computer, it doesn't really look like anything special, but it's a little bit of a mess right now. I just wanted to make the video because everything is working, and then I can kind of clean up the cables a little bit later down the road. So just looking at this, now we're looking at the machine on the right, not the one on the left. Just looking at this machine here, it doesn't look like anything super duper crazy. You can see that the optical drives are missing. However, if we go here and open this little doorway, you'll see that there is, that's not exactly standard for this HP tower. It looks like we have some Compaq Ultra 320 drives there with a hot swap bay and then a little custom door that I spent an entire day cutting out of a piece of office organizer for that kind of vintage tinted look, which is running very good. These also have the LED lights that blink in them too. I'll show you that there in a minute. But as of now, you might have just seen that. As of now, they're not doing anything. They're just on idle. And then if we go to look here, we see we have a splitter out of here. Interesting. Two USBs plugged in, which those are just not very excitingly hooked up to a mouse and keyboard. But if we go over here, we'll see we have a very small screen with my custom Hot Wheels Ferrari F40 hanging out down there underneath it. And that looks like a AT launcher almost for a Minecraft. Now, if we turn on this back here, this light, so I can actually see what's going on, and maybe try to shine that in here, you'll see there is a whole mess of cables and a switch. And what the heck is this thing? That looks familiar. You may have recognized from my other videos. If we say something like green color, that will change colors, which is pretty cool. So looking back here, let's start at the bottom. So this just came in the mail literally this afternoon. This is the remote insight cable, which I've never actually had one of these, even though I had the card, and I have another video with the card running. It had the internal cable to connect to my ML370 server, which is now parked with the big bad boy 4400, 6400 swap system underneath there on the left, that Compaq. So that, actually no, I lied. That was in a 350 server that I took apart and sold parts and stuff. So I, of course, kept the remote insight cable. Again, I wanted to run this in a newer system. And the main issue with that is that the onboard video for that is a Rage XL 8 megabyte, which is basically the equivalent of a shoe for rendering any sort of video on the screen. So, I mean, I could probably get a notepad and be more efficient on that thing. Anyway, it doesn't really do much besides 2D because it is for server. I mean, I gotta give it that, and it is 100 years old, which you gotta credit it for that as well. So actually looking here, that's the part number for that remote insight cable, if anybody is looking for it, 19196.762. This is the cable that you need for that card with the 9-pin cable. So anyway, getting back to this here, if you look, so I'm trying to cram my phone in there. At the very back, we have a white cable. Now, the remote insight card for external power uses a power brick, which is rated for 10 volt. However, I was able to make it work using a motherboard onboard 5 volt. It's able just to trigger the relay to shut the machine off and on. Something I will get into too is that this card works in here, but it is very finicky and kind of works, but it has some issues. We'll get into that in a little bit. Beside that, you'll see there is a little blue Ethernet cable that's just plugged into my switch there in the first port. Sorry for the mess back here. We have the VGA cable, which goes up here into that nice coil, and that goes up into this little micro Neewer screen. I'm just going to fiddle my mouse here so it refreshes. That is hooked up to this. I'll get to this in a second. This is the screen running the ILO cards Rage XL on the main thing. We have to have this set up as the main, the main video output device, or it will not work. Going back here, the last thing we have is the 9-pin cable, which splits out into a few things. So the first one we go is the keyboard cable, which is purple. That's plugged into the motherboard. Now, you can't see it in here, I don't think, But yeah, move back to improve focus. Shut up. Is this P6? This is board I'm using is not P6. Sorry, P5QWS, which I'll get to that after I cut the video. It's very interesting because this board has a 133 megahertz PCIe slot, which I wanted to use for the RAID controller for those drives I just showed you. And it also has a PCI slot that I can use the RILOE card in. But unfortunately, this board only has one PS2 slot. So after a little bit of troubleshooting, I plugged the keyboard into that. The cable, sorry, the RILOE cable goes, it has two, god damn it. It has three things that come off to it. The keyboard cable, the mouse cable, which is plugged into this USB adapter because I only have one PS2 port on the back of the freaking motherboard, which also has keyboard, but that wasn't working. I just use it in the board. I find it's easier for the BIOS and stuff. It doesn't have to load a USB driver and not work. I figure the binary is probably better with the keyboard. Anyway, it's working. I'm just making the video to show you. So we have the three cables, keyboard into the back, the PS2. If you have a board like mine, if you ever, for some weird reason, somebody actually does this, the first one, the keyboard into the board, into your PS2 port. Second one, into an adapter. This is USB splitter. It wasn't really working with that. Still fiddling with it a bit, but anyway, this is how I got it working. PS2 into the PS2 to USB adapter into your board. And then the third thing that comes out of here is a splitter with a T cable, which your actual physical, quote unquote, physical PS2 mouse and keyboard, which is this guy here, which is actually a server kind of one with the little trackpad on it. That thing is in here. And your keyboard. Now, something to note is that when you're using the remote console, it actually disables your the card will kind of cut it off. You see, I don't even know where my cursor is. It's over there by the Minecraft, spoiler alert, running, and it actually cuts off the operation of your mouse and keyboard when you're in the remote console, which is kind of funny. You can actually bypass it by plugging in another keyboard and mouse, which I have there. We'll get to that in just a second, but that's basically the back of this now. Just kidding, for the card. If you look a little more back here, sorry for this awful video. Oh God, I apologize in advance. Let's close the tripod. If you look in the back here, the next thing up we have is the SCSI port for the card. I'm using Smart Array 642. Above that, we have a card with the two cables coming out. Those go into the above card, which is USB 3.0 card. And then going up, the last thing we have on this board is the GeForce 8600 GT that I'm using, which just plugged in. I wanted to use a better card, but honestly, I'm planning to sell my house again, and this house anyway, and move. And I sold off most of my spare stuff, which this is actually a card I use for testing motherboards. It's just an 8600 GT 512 meg without any additional power connectors. So I popped that in there just for some 3D. And I didn't think it was really going to work with everything I was doing, but it actually did. So we'll call it game. That USB light from the dollar store. And then I have Ethernet just plugged into the actual motherboard down there. If you look, you can actually potentially see that plugged into my switch. And that's about it. You see the coil of that there. And moving up, you can see the screen. Oh, that's right. You can, oh my God, this video sucks. You can see the screen, and it's powered by 12 volt, that little Neewer screen. Something really funny I wanted to mention is that this screen actually uses reversed polarity for the 12 volt and ground. And I wanted to power it. If you look, I don't even know where I ran it. Where did I run that cable? Oh, it goes underneath the power supply there from the adapter. If you can even see, it just tucks underneath there with a little bracket that just slides to hold the screen in place, and it's pretty sturdy. It stays here, but you can also slide it off very easily if you need to do maintenance on the machine. So what I was saying is that something I wanted to mention, this screen uses reverse polarity for the 12 volt and ground, and then I decided to, oh, you know what, I have that wire. I decided to hook it up and not double check my connections, and then immediately scorch the wire and caused so much smoke in my basement, I pretty much figure I give myself cancer for making this video, but I actually still have the wire here. And this, let me go here. Let me bring you back to the light here. Let's light this back up. It's worth seeing this. This is why you double check your connections when you wire 12 volt and ground, because that burnt all the shielding off there in about half a second, and that's what's left of this wire. So definitely when you're wiring 12 volt something, the screen to run off their internal power supply, it might be a good idea to double check your connections, because that's what can happen with that. So word of the advice, I've never seen so much smoke come out of something in my life, and I literally had my hand on the switch and switched it off as soon as it did it. But yeah, so the machine is running. It's really cool. I'm really happy with how this came out. You'll also notice there's an HP Compaq convenient, which I got from my buddy downtown where I live here with his little computer shop, which I wanted a case. I didn't want to buy a new case to butcher this thing up, But he gave me this because it was the only one that fit the full-size ATX board, and actually came out good because I'm using a bunch of HP Compaq goodies anyway, and then I have a case that kind of matches, and it's kind of newer and it kind of works, and it's got that sort of line sort of style, a lot like the older ProLiants that I really enjoy. It's kind of the spiritual successor for this, if you will. So that's a really cool machine too. I like that one. It came out great. But yeah, my goal with this was to get everything running with the remote console, to get it running with the dual monitors. You'll see. Can we not do this? Thanks. In the middle of my video. So if we look here, let's now explain this, how it's working. Oops, actually here, there, you just logged me out. So this big screen here, this is hooked up to the, let me put the light on here so you can see this. This big screen here, my 32-inch TV, this is hooked up to my Asus P16, not to be confused with the P5 whatever, that the P5WS board that is hooked up to on the side. This system here is, you'll see here, there's the remote console. This is running Windows 11. I'll shrink this down here. This is hooked up to the Remote Insight, this is connecting to the Remote Insight card. This is Windows 11, you can see it there at the bottom. This second screen is the Windows XP machine. Now you look here, this is hooked up. We can go to our device manager. I might stop the video here and move it, but I'm probably not going to. I can always cut this if need be. This is kind of going out on a whim. There's a tractor trailer driving down my street. I don't really know why that is. All right, so I wanted to take a video and show the inside of the computer, but I'm too lazy to take it all apart and move it all around. So if we look at the computer here, starting at the very bottom, you'll see the green light there. That is the lights out card mounted in the PCI slot. For that to work, we also have to have the video card set for the PCI boot first, because this is a PCI video card, and it will not work properly if we have the PCI Express set. Now, moving to the front, the top rather, you'll see the PCI Express video card there with the heatsink on it. That is the 8600 GT that I have plugged in. In this picture, I just realized I don't have my USB 3 card plugged in. These are pictures from when I was building the machine, but there is a USB 3 card plugged into that next PCI 1 slot. And then in the PCI X slot, the reason for me wanting to use this board, the P5QWS, is that it has the PCI X slot, and you'll see the Smarter 8 642 card plugged in there. Let me go full screen. Oops. You'll also see, if we look here at the bottom, you'll see that I'm using this, it's a four 2 gig sticks of Kingston RAM. And I'm using the shorty sticks because you can see the drive bay there and the fan. The clearance for that was very, very close. I was within probably 1/8 of an inch of actually making this work. But this case also is going to go through as like a slideshow here, like I'm back in school. This case had a solid IO shield, so I actually had to undrill the rivets on the back here to make it fit. But luckily it was an ATX case, so the board fit properly. Here's another picture of the inside. You can just see the clearances on these here for the RAM, just how close this was. I can't stress enough this thing, how close it was to not working. It was not fun. It was pretty close. I'm also using this Ultra CPU cooler that I put in there. It's got an extra fan on the back. It works pretty good. They will stay nice and cool, even with that panel shut. And it's only got a single, I believe that's a 90 mil fan on the back there to keep it cool. But the machine's pretty quiet and silent. I can't really complain. Here's another picture with the cage in the front. You can see my custom metalwork on there. You can see that there's only 5 bays. You can pull them out. They can hot swap. And the 6th bay, where the light are, the power light and the hard drive light, that is where the 1 terabyte hard drive is just kind of screwed in there without the caddy. And here's another picture too, just on those clearances, just to see how tight they are. Again, can't stress enough, this thing was like very close to not working. Here's another picture too, where I added just a fan. I think that's a little bigger. I think that's a 120 mil. Just zip tied in there, very hillbilly-like, but it works good just to blow a little bit of fresh air in and keep the machine that much cooler, which we need when we're running that high 150 watt processor and all the drives, which get very hot in the machine. Let's go into the device manager here. I'll see this is the Windows XP computer here. I'll open up the system for you. Let me try to set this down here so it's not shaky, but I don't think I'm going to be able to really do it so you guys can see this here. Yeah, good luck with that. That didn't do shit all, did it? Let's go nice and close for you. Let's bring this in here nice and close. You know what? That just might work. So you'll see here, there is my Windows screen, I guess you'll call it. We got the Windows XP SP2 registered to myself. Thank you very much. I don't even know if I used the activator for this. I don't know. To get this fully running, I did use two tools. One was called Legacy Update, which worked really good. I've always heard about it, but I've never used it. Worked great. I installed like 170 updates on this. Something insane. The reason for using this and not Windows 7 is because when you go to the control, let me show you this right now. When you go to the screen thingy on here, Windows XP, I believe, was the oh my God, I'm having a stroke. Windows XP was the last operating system, to my knowledge. Side note, I installed Vista and this did not work. To use these two screens. So if you look here, we have our 8600 GT. This is on the main screen right here. This one in the frame, the Dell, whatever you call it here, 1600 by 900. It's running at the nice resolution, 32-bit color. Now, if we click on this one, you'll see this is our little rinky-dink guy over here, the little Neewer screen up top there. That's running the 800 by 600 resolution with only the 24-bit color, and that's on the Rage XL. We can even go into advanced, and you will see this as well too. See that? ATI Mach 64, just kidding, yeah, memory size 8,000 kilobytes. Yeah, she's a really high performance machine there. I can of course identify that and see both of them. Let me move this and see both of them there. So this, like I say, Windows XP, I believe, was the last version to do this. And of course I wanted to use 64-bit because I have 8 gigs of RAM installed in this machine. So let me show you the device manager here for this as well. Whoop. I named this computer ML301, almost like the Tower ProLiant servers, which like ML350, but this guy is a little bit smaller. Let me see if I can actually get this in focus for you, because I think that would be beneficial to the video if you could actually read what's going on there. Not like this phone would focus. The Google Pixels installed an update, which basically halved my battery and made my voice chat sound like I have severe learning disability. But these here, you'll see there's all my discs, my 4 SCSI discs in here. I did install a couple of the Compaq suites as well for that. Let me show you that before I forget. Oh, there's the Java. Don't even get me started on how annoying that is. Our driver. But what I'm looking for here is the HP. We have the ACU utility, and we also have the HP web page, which I'll show you both of those. Let's take an aside here right now. You'll see our ACU. Let me move over to here. You can see there's not much going on with that now. But if we click our ACU, woohoo, if I'm actually able to execute the clicking without what is this? So I had to cut my video here because these drives are actually all installed in here, and I have the array configuration utility installed. However, when I click it, either an update from the HP or the update from the Windows update, the legacy update, has broken this, so I can't actually use this anymore for whatever reason. It's kind of currently shot. I don't really know why. It used to work, but I think when it changed to the web version, something has managed to break it. We also have system management homepage here, which gives us bitches and complaints. However, when you look in here, you'll see that there's no agents. The Insight Diagnostics does nothing, and it doesn't even detect through the homepage the management processor, the Remote Insight board. Even if we go into settings and stuff, you'll see it's all just really like nothing in here. We can try the diagnostics, which doesn't actually even load. It just kind of sits here and never does anything. What's really funny is that it identifies the product name as P5QWS, which is not anywhere near a Compaq or HP product, and our poor man is just sitting here indefinitely looking at his clipboard, pretending to do something and getting paid. Thank you, generic man. Oh, I also have a 1 terabyte drive crammed in the bays. If you saw that, what do you call it there, that caddy, the hot swap base, there's actually only 5 disks in there. We have 1 disk, 2 disk, 3, and then these 2 are actually our main OS disks. There's 2 15K Ultra 320s in there, and they're both 36 gig, no, 18 gigs, I lied. I don't even remember what the size is. You'll see here is that, yeah, 60 is, they're dual 32s or 36, whatever they are. And then there's our 1 terabyte disk there as well. You'll see the other disks aren't hooked up. I haven't actually partitioned them yet because Windows XP doesn't have a partition manager. And now my array configuration utility is apparently shit the bed, so I can't do that anyway. But they're all in there, they're running, they're working good. Here is the display adapters. You'll see our 8600 GT. And then this is an interesting thing to mention, our standard VGA adapter. This is the Rage XL here for the Remote Insight card. There is a driver for Windows XP for this. However, when I installed it, I found that the performance of the computer became really erratic. The start menu was a lot slower. Things took a little while to open. It was just kind of goofy and not really working. So I just used the standard VGA adapter for this. It works fine, and it doesn't even give us any more. It's not like we get 3D or we get anything out of this. I might be able to get slightly some sort of 3D, but honestly, it's not really. From testing, it made it a big mess. Even when I used this thing in Vista, it made Vista pretty much unusable with the updated driver. So we're just going to keep it with that now. There is a driver for XP64 for this, which does work in Vista, and it will install the Rage XL. You cannot install it in Windows 7, even Windows 7 32-bit. It will see it, and it will say it's not for the version of Windows. You may, however, be able to install this in the Windows Server. I'm not sure. I have not tried that. I saw some things online of people doing it, but I never did, because to get our dual screen set up to run the asymmetrical like this, it does not work on anything besides Windows XP. It will install in Vista. You can install both drivers. You will not be able to have dual screens, and basically you're rendering your machine unusable because you're using a Rage XL for your main output and your only output. Going in here now, again, the settings, we have both of these. If you do this in Vista or whatever, anything besides XP, you will only have your number one screen here, and you'll be stuck with that Rage XL. You will not be able to do this with two screens, even with all the drivers and all the things installed. Another thing I want to mention is that when you open your control panel, NVIDIA, or your NView, unless you're on the Windows XP, these will immediately crash if your card is in the second slot. On your BIOS, I have to mention this as well. You have to set your main boot device as the PCI, not the PCI Express, for it to boot this card and for it to work properly. If you think you're going to pull a fast one and just have it boot in the second slot, it does not work. It will not show up. You might be able to have it show up as a secondary monitor, but for it to work on a remote insight, we need to have it as the remote. So, oh my God, we need to have it as the main thing. So yeah, that's why I'm using XP64, if you are curious. Moving on, we have probably 16 mouse and keyboards installed into this. I don't even know what I'm looking at, all of these, because I have literally the Remote Insight mouse and keyboard with the PS2 with the USB crazy. I'm using a mouse and keyboard right now, and then I'm actually using the Remote Insight thing too, which isn't hooked up again. It timed itself out, but I basically have 3 sets of mouse and keyboard hooked up to this, which is really interesting. Our 2 monitors there, and these are the Remote Insight board, which you can get obviously for Windows XP because I'm using it. So these are the drivers for this. If you need these drivers, send a comment in the video here and I will tell you which one of these you need, because it was kind of a pain to find, but it installed. There's no issue. Dual Ethernet on the board. There's our Xeon, which I can overclock. This thing I did have running overclocked, but I did downtune it. I was having some issues with the rebooting on this. For the Remote Insight board where it gets stuck, which I thought was due to the overclock. Just kidding, it's because it's a really weird setup and it doesn't really like what I'm doing, not because of my overclock. Windows XP, we also get the old legacy ASUS overclocking tools, which are really, really cool, and they work very well. You can set fan curves and everything, which is very nice to do. I haven't really tinkered with that yet. I just wanted to get this going and make a video for my YouTube. Oh, my Windows Defender on my Windows 11 computer has apparently found a threat. Thank you for your service. Here is our Smart Array 642 controller, and we also have our sound controller plugged in as well. That's about it, really. And the rest is just kind of your normal stuff. You'll see here we do have the Smart Array driver for the disks, but right now that's not actually working for whatever reason. But everything's installed on here. Everything is working nice. That's our device manager. It's basically that's that. I installed a couple different Javas and stuff. You know what? I'm honestly not even sure what Java I used. I'm pretty sure I just used the latest one you can get for the Windows XP. You can see them all on the left here. I don't even honestly remember which one of these I was using. There's so much shit I was doing. At the end of the day, basically, I wanted this to run and operate and be able to connect to it remotely. And then what I like to do in my videos, if you've seen any other of my videos, is I like to go on them and see what the machine can really do, which is interesting. Now, we've been running Minecraft here the whole time. I'm not really sure what actually happened to the Minecraft. It looks like it's kind of had itself oh, did I maybe, what is going on? Why do I not have, what on earth happened to the Minecraft? It just apparently, like, what the hell? What the hell? It just apparently, oh, there it is. What is going on with all my icons? Let's just disconnect from that for a second. But there's the Minecraft running. Maybe because I shrunk the window down. Let's just put him over there. Conveniently remembers where I was, but using this, I'm using the MyPal browser. There is also a version of Chrome that runs with this as well, and it works pretty good. The Chrome is kind of goofy. You'll know in my videos I usually like to go and just do a couple little things and see what this really does. Now this computer is a quad-core Xeon. It's pretty fast, all things considering. We can go to YouTube. I don't think YouTube actually works properly on the Chrome. It does work great on the MyPal browser. Let's put it up. Oh, here. The only thing I don't like with this is that when you go to freaking search at the bar, I don't know how to do it, so it doesn't. I'll show you. So here, obviously, we can go to YouTube, shot for shot. This is probably already loaded versus Chrome. Even if I close down this stupid Reddit tab and this garbage over here, I bet you it will actually beat our Google Chrome. Try searching. Okay. Mr. Beast. I should make a short, then maybe Mr. Beast will let me play on some of his gaming videos. The Google Chrome wasn't working. You'll see here we have these really like gigantic icons, and that doesn't. The Chrome doesn't work. The Chrome is kind of stupid. Versus if we go here to the MyPal browser and do Mr. Beast, Mr. Bissette, we can see that his videos actually work good. Now I don't have any speakers hooked up to this. Oh, an ad! What a surprise! I could connect to this on a freaking my 8086. If I ever got this online, I could get onto YouTube and it would show me an ad and nothing else would work. But here we go with our Mr. Beast, and this is running, I'm on Ethernet, but this is running the 720. Even if I want to stick it onto the 1080 and turn off my closed caption, this runs really good. Like it works great. There's no issues with that. Not like some of my other videos where I'm using these old ancient 32-bit Xeons that can barely do anything. The 604s. This chip is more than capable. With 8 gigs of RAM, we're running really, really good. And plus, something else that I really like is that with the Windows XP, is that our resources are not even really getting used a whole lot. Like we're using 3.5 gigs of RAM here, and a third of the CPU, a quarter of the CPU with everything running. And I have Chrome in the background too, which is a complete resource hog. But this plays really, really nicely. If we go to eBay's, there's multiple of them. Again, this is on the MyPal browser. Even something simple to go eBay. I don't know what that is. Oh, you know why that is. What I wanted to show you is that, see, what I don't like with the Chrome is, see that? I typed in there, and then you have to type it twice. I don't know why. This thing is stupid. If I type something in here, like let's just say I want to go Facebook and search, it won't actually do anything because this doesn't, there's probably a way to set this up, but this stupid thing here, oh, okay, it actually worked because I did the actual address. Let's just type in fast cars. That doesn't look right. Yeah, because it doesn't search. I don't know how to make the tab actually search Google. I have to search Google and then search, which is very fast. Let's see the performance on here. Let's just search for something. X5460. Xeon. Oh, okay. So this has to redirect and check my browser and check my gender and everything else. Versus if we go to our MyPal and type X5460. Let's see if this can search. And it searched in about half a second. Versus Google Chrome being stupid and not actually working. Well, you didn't actually redirect me. Google Chrome is kind of dead in my opinion. I don't really like it. I find that they're really, really annoying. And this works good. And that's actually a pretty good price. Not that I'm going to buy another. Oh my God, that's seen some better days. It looks like it's been sitting in somebody's. I like the rustic wood behind it. That's interesting. He is not a Chinese seller because the Chinese seller's always clean. Oh yeah, he's actually quite close to me. He might even be watching this video. But yeah, clean up your chip. That looks awful. How much do you want for shipping? Whatever, I don't care. This works good. It runs nice. I like it too because it warns you if you're gonna close your tabs. I bet you $100 this didn't even work or do anything. So this Google Chrome can honestly get uninstalled from this. It doesn't even really work. But check out that awesome background. That's a very Windows XP era background. Whoa, that's in focus. If you blew out the picture anymore, you're gonna have to go to the friggin' police. Let's actually focus that there. Nice. Okay, that's like reasonably not in focus. So the big cheese, what I wanted to have this do is run Minecraft. So you'll see here, if I go to this, oh, just kidding, the launcher console is actually on my other screen there. You'll see when I click it up and down. To get this to run was very interesting. Basically, here, let me just redo it. I'm gonna close it. Oh, perfect. That just shows there. Let me grab the console window. And actually, you know what? I'll leave the console window. The console window's up on the other screen. So basically, I tried a whole bunch of different versions of this. Don't mind that they have really awful names. Actually, just kidding. I have to cut that out of my video. Okay, so sorry, I had to cut the video there. I did name some of these very rude names that I cannot show on my YouTube. So if you look here, I tried a bunch of versions of this. The older versions were working really good. Oh, this one's named Piss Pants, which I guess that's not really R-rated. We can leave that on there. The 1.2111 version wasn't working. I was able to get the 1.16 version, 0.5 running, because that is the last one that actually worked properly on Windows XP. The 21.11 I wasn't able to get going. Let me grab my console over here and I'll show you this. But the 1.21 21.10 version I was able to get run. If we click play this, oh my god, today I'm talking too fast. If I click play, you'll see it should be able just to kind of load and do its thing. However, the 11 version would spit me out an error. It does take a few seconds for it to launch here, but it does work. Now, my server, if you follow Minecraft at all, the 1.2, 1.11 version came out maybe about a month or so ago, which added the Nautilus and the harpoon, the spear, just a couple little changes, nothing too crazy. But regardless, my server runs it, and for this to work and do the newest version of Minecraft, I had to be able to connect to it, you know? So I wasn't able to get the 1.2, 1.11 version to run, which was pissing me off. However, there is a plugin that you can install on your server that allows older versions to connect, which I know is kind of cheating, but because this is so close and it was so new, for all intents and purposes, we can say we are playing the new version because my server is a new version and this does connect. And I mean, if I can get the 1.2, 1.10 to run, I'm sure there's just some little nitpicky little thing that's causing the 11 version to not run. I don't really know. I'm going to look into it maybe later because I've been working on this for 2 weeks and I'm kind of done troubleshooting it. We got our Minecraft to load here now. You can see our multiplayer server. Here it is here at the bottom. It's going to take 100 years. There we go. And you'll see it's version 1.2, 1.11. I'll further this because when I load it here, actually I'll keep it in the windowed mode so you can see. Bring it over here. I'm going to try to play this without knocking my TP tripod over. See, here's our little log. Here's our little log hanging out. I wanted to also open up my this guy, Task Manager. We'll put him over there. This on top. Just kidding. That always stays on top, except for Minecraft. And here we are. We're running. You can see there's my version at the top right there, 1.2, 1.20, 1.10 on my 21.11 server. And you'll know this is legit because when I press this here, you'll see, if I grab this, see this 1.2, 1.11 Diamond Spear, that is obviously from the newer version. I do have my settings set kind of low. We are using the 8600 GT, which is very strange because if you run this in a newer version of Windows, the Java version does not work. Something I wanted to mention as well, we have to use, you know what, I think I have it right, this right here. We need to install, there's tutorials how to do this online. We use this plugin, and then there's a couple of the render files that we change around so that it basically loads, I believe, an older version of Java for the newer thing. But this runs quite good. I mean, I've got a bunch of stuff open here, and I have my Elytra wings on as well. But it runs pretty good. I know my settings are low, but this thing works. It works pretty good. I see something on the right there. It says receive passengers for unknown entity. Unable to play empty sound event, salmon ambient, tropical fish ambient. I'm not really sure what those are. But if we look here, you can see it's running pretty good. This is my new little zoo that I've built. But what I wanted to show you down here is because I've captured a couple Nautilus, is that they actually show up with the squid and they say Nautilus above them, which is pretty funny. So those are kind of like a placeholder, I guess you'd say. I was explaining to my girlfriend back in the day playing the old Forza Motorsport, is that when you would race against somebody with a DLC vehicle, they would show up as an old Volkswagen Bora that was all blacked out as the placeholder item, placeholder car, and because if you didn't buy the DLC, you wouldn't have those cars installed on your server, on your vehicle. So this plays good. I think it runs. I think it runs pretty nice. it seems to be going good. Our CPU usage is pretty low. And yeah, something interesting I wanted to show you here now, before I go over to the remote console, is that you're probably wondering what happens if we put this and try to render it on the Rage XL. So if I slide this right across here and put half of it on the Rage XL, that's our 3D. It cannot actually even render. You see my mouse? There's my mouse there now. It cannot render this. It does not work. So we'll slide her back over here. Whoa. Put that back over there. Put it back where it belongs, and I'm gonna move my window over here, which you can even see the performance of the 2D window is just pretty awful. Here's my little WordPad. We're gonna keep this up here. And now, the moment of truth, I'm going to attempt to connect to this with the remote console, the remote insight. So if we go to close this here, we'll just close it. We'll open up, I have my old school, Firefox here. This is the web address. We'll see here our certificate, blah, 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 blah. Again, we need to disable our Windows security for installing this. It will not install. And yes, my password is password, and my username is my own name. We need to disable our Windows security to install this because it will not install the Java because of a vulnerability. If somebody's going to connect to 20-year-old Java and look at my remote console, I don't actually know. But here's our remote insight status summary, which you'll see if you have ever watched my old video. I called that server the Baby Proliant, and it actually remembered all the settings. Something I did want to mention is the BIOS setup for the server for my own machine, the whatever, the ML301, the ASUS, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't give us the F8 setup screen for this. So if you want to use this in something weird like I'm doing right now, you will have to find a machine that will let you get into that F8 screen to set it up, because I'm not able to use the Compaq tools to do it remotely over the web, and I'm not able to access it with the BIOS, so you're kind of stuck, locked out of it. But conveniently, this remembered all of the settings, and we're able to use it. So you'll see there's my mouse and my remote insight keyboard and mouse. And something else interesting is that our auxiliary power is disconnected. If you do use the 10 volt, it does show connected. I might hook another adapter up to this later, or I might try it with a 9 volt. It does switch the virtual power. You can see it here now, the server's powered on, and we're actually able to force power it off, which I'll do at the end of the video, because this is the one thing that doesn't really work too well with this. I don't know if it's because this machine boots up really quick. I think that's the issue, is that it's actually posting too fast, and it doesn't always initiate the video driver. Sometimes it does initiate the video driver, but then the remote insight is actually screwed, and it gives it like a little yellow light on the board. So I don't know if it's booting too quick or what the issue is. It does work, as I'm going to show you here in 2 seconds, but it is a little bit goofy. Basically how this works is there is a 4-pin cable on the remote insight card. The middle 2 pins are your power button, and then the outside 2 pins on that weird connector, it looks like a CD audio connector, they actually need to be bridged together, and then that gives the remote, that will tell you that this is plugged in. It tells the card that it's installed, and then the middle 2 we can just tee into our actual power button on our server. It works with a relay when you click this button here, and that's what shuts our machine down. So here's everything here. Let's go to my remote console now. We have to accept these. I'm one-handing my tripod, so I'm not able to use my keyboard. But basically, this was a little bit of a pain to get the mouse and keyboard working on this. But you'll see here, oh, look at that. It's not actually working now. Something has screwed up on it. I'm not really too sure. My keyboard is working. However, actually, this is something worth mentioning, is that you can see here now is that there's my mouse at the top. My keyboard is typing. That's my remote console that I just showed you. Let's go full screen on this. Is that, see my mouse here, maybe if I do local cursor on, no, it doesn't work. Is that doesn't work. So what I'm going to show you here now is that I have this plugged in with this little adapter, but it's a little bit goofy. Here's the PS2 keyboard. So again, if I go, I don't even know where my mouse is supposed to be on this, but I'm wiggling the mouse thingy right now, and it's not doing anything. But if I type on the keyboard, oh, it doesn't do anything either. I did this before and it worked. So if I unplug the USB for the mouse and then plug it back in, you see my keyboard actually came on there as well. I'm still not seeing the mouse, but if I go here, does it work? No, now it's not working. This has been a little bit finicky. My keyboard is still working, but my mouse apparently is being kind of stupid. Let's bring the mouse over to here and wiggle it and see. For some reason, this is a little bit interesting. Let me close down my remote insight console here. Let's close this down. Let's close the whole thing down, actually, and then we'll go back. You'll see that our mouse is still not really working. I don't know why this is. This is This is definitely a little bit weird to use. It's not exactly okay. So now our mouse is there. That's I'm using with the PS. You can't even see this. The mouse is working with the PS2 keyboard, and if I type, our PS2 keyboard is working. Now, if I go back to our Firefox and log back into this, thanks for that. That's can I actually type? Or if I go back into our Firefox here, I know this isn't exactly ideal, but it's not exactly an ideal setup either. If I go back into this and log in, accept our certificates, yes. The moment of truth. There we go. Now our mouse is working. So there's something a little bit goofy with the mouse driver, but you'll see I'm able to select that text, and if I'm still able to type when I hold down the keyboard, and this is the keyboard hooked up to my Asus P6T, the obviously Remote Insight 1. So we can use this on here now. Obviously here I'm gonna go close this. You got to kind of double click. It doesn't. It's a little bit of a delay to register the our inputs there, but it does work. So what I'm going to do now? No, we can close this. We can move our window up here. Again, you can see this. Let's just wiggle this around. Oh my gosh, I can wiggle this around, and if you look over there, you'll see it. You'll see it spinning around. Oh, there I can actually bring it over to the Minecraft screen. Something that we can't do, however, is to bring the Minecraft screen onto this. We can actually play. Here's the moment of truth, because here's my cursor. We can actually use the cursor, see, with this hand on this mouse for that computer, the P6T. We can actually bring the mouse over. And now I'm still using it. I'm not touching this mouse or this keyboard. And we can actually play the Minecraft, attempt to play the Minecraft. Come on, mouse, with with the Remote Insight thing. Okay, here we go. Back. Come on, there. Oh, yes. It's kind of, it's definitely interesting, but we can kind of, come on, we can sort of kind of play this. Let's try the keyboard. Oh, okay, there. My keyboard is not exactly ideal. This movement is all with the keyboard, though. It's not with the Remote Insight, though. Okay, we're gonna face this direction. Come on, I'm going to trade with a villager. Come on. I don't know why it's going so slow. Let me just try something here. I'm gonna press escape. That works. Let me go to. Oops, I'm opening Windows on the Windows 11 machine. Let me go to see if I can go down to search desktop down here. Where is my mouse? This is so wonky. Oh my freaking god. What a weird setup. Let me position this a little bit better so you can see what kind of fiasco is going on here. Let me see. Because this is, if you see the line where this mouse is here, this is kind of the off cut, because when I'm on my screen on this one for the Remote Insight, I'm actually able to use, obviously the mouse works fine if it's on that screen. However, I have to think for something that can get the mouse over to the other side working well. I was actually able just to do it. Let's move this down. Just kidding, that doesn't actually work, because I wonder if I put local cursor on. Let me click that on this. I don't know what that does. Oh, that makes it insane. Okay, this might work a little bit better. Oh my god. The issue is that with the freaking dumb Windows 11, as soon as you go to the bottom, it opens up that browser bar thing at the end, which is kind of a pain. Again, you would not be able to really even use this. I don't know why anybody would want to use this. I guess that's just me. I want to go in here and make sure that my keyboard is still working. Okay, my keyboard is working good. Even the W. Yeah, it's working good. So I don't know why when I go to this. Come on. What was that? You totally scammed me. Okay, this local cursor is kind of a pain. Let's try this. Come on. Come on. There we go. For whatever reason, is when I'm in this, it has a little bit of an issue with base. Oh god. I just punched. I'm sorry, Ram Farber. Can we turn? I must trade with the villager. We are playing the Minecraft through the remote console. However, it's so weird. You can't just hold down W and play it. No, it makes it too difficult, and I can only turn it like a 25-degree angle for whatever reason. I basically have to spam. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we're in. Oh, there we go. I'm holding W. We are moving. We are moving. Okay. Farmer. Oh god, no, come back. if I hold down W, it thinks about working. No, I don't want to punch him. Come on, go forward. We are going to trade with this villager. Oh, I can barely reach him. There we go, there we go. We have movement. Okay, right click, right click. I don't probably have emeralds. Come on. Come on, right click, I believe in you. Does right click not actually work on this? I don't know. Oh, there we go, there we go. Okay. Do I have emeralds? I don't have emeralds. Do I have carrots? I don't have carrots either. Oh, I can't trade. I must trade with him on the remote console. Okay, these are all farmers. What about this guy, Toolsmith? Come here, Toolsmith. I believe in you. We can do this. Come on. Come on, right click. Come on, right click. No, I don't want to punch him. Did I just hit him? I don't even know what I'm doing at this point. Where did he go? Oh, there he is. There he is. Come here. Oh my god. They're like... Okay, okay. Weaponsmith. Coal. Do I have coal? I probably don't have coal either. Why is this game so hard? I must get the coal. I must get the coal from inside of the house. And we're gonna do this. Come on. I wonder if I can make this full screen. Oh yeah, now we're in business. That was with the remote console, of course. This plays so bad. Oh. No. Come on. Come on, I believe in you. There we go. One of these must have coal in it. I need either coal or carrots. Come on, chest! Okay, there we go. Nope, that's empty. What about this barrel? Okay. Oh, there we go. Perfect. What was that? What was that? What happened to my window? No. Oh my god. This is not fun. Okay, there we go. In my inventory. Come on. Thank you. Escape. Okay. Now I have to turn... The hardest part of this, honestly, is that it doesn't lock the cursor to the window. So I'm not able to, like, properly turn around. As you can tell by the video. I'm only able to rotate because when I move my cursor, I only have that 800 by 600 kind of area there. So let me reverse out of here and try to find that toolsmith. There he is! No, come back. Forward! Full throttle. Come on. Come on, right click. No, come back. I don't know why it doesn't register that well in this. But we're gonna do this. We are buying this emerald. The remote console emerald. Come on. Yes, I know. Oh my gosh. Why? What if I hold down the right click? That doesn't work either. Why does it not go now? We are so close. We are so close. Come on, open the freaking dialogue, man. What the fuck are you clicking now? This friggin' thing, man. And this game just loves to make things a mess for X reason too. Okay, come on. No, I don't want to select all. What are you even on? Like, what? I don't know what this thing is doing. Select all. I'm not even on a... Okay, come here. Why is this not cooperating now? Am I, like, missing something with this? What is going on? How do I move it up 1 millimeter and it goes off of the screen? Let me try to put local cursor on. That might work a little bit better. I don't want to click because I don't want to punch him, but apparently it's not... It doesn't register the clicks well at all. I might be able to use a kind of... Let me just try something here. Because we were so close. But yet so far. But in the end it doesn't even... Okay, there. Now that's actually working. But even to use the mouse wheel, something else that I wasn't able to do, is not really working that well. The scroller wheel does not seem to work at all. That's not working. I can switch my inputs. What about if I was to just say place a block? Is that something we can do? Okay, can I... Oh, that's right. Can I move? No. The right click is very problematic on this. Just trying to place this block is not cooperating either. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I just have to spam the right click. Now, where's our tool or tool maker? Where are you? He's buried in here. He's got the posse around him. Or did he like run off to the anvil? No, there he is. Okay. We're doing this. Come on. Come on. Aha, here we go. Here we go. Emerald. I can conveniently buy one. Our singular emerald. This has been traded over the remote console. We have done it. We have done the emerald trade. It is now mine. It's going into my inventory. This is the exclusive emerald, and I'm going to hang it up. Come on. I'm going to hang it. Go forward. I'm going to hang it up in my... Oh, I got to manually select it. I'm going to hang it up in this item frame in here, which I think exists. Or I could give it to my little LA, but he likes his record. It's too bad that the right click is so brutal on this. Because it's actually, thanks. It's actually somewhat playable. Wow, this video's been almost an hour. That's interesting. That is good to know. I don't know why the right click does not like to work. Wow. It's almost like, I wonder if I can use, there we go, okay. And don't you dare shut that door on me. I will delete this server. Forward! There we go, okay. Now, if I can rotate completely behind me. Oh yes, there's an item frame. I can like stir it. I'm like stirring the cursor like a soup. Okay, there it is. There it is. This is coming out. I have to click that out. Okay, now I need to right click and put it in the frame. Come on. Come on. Yes, we did it. Oh my gosh. That was something else. That was, and you know what's interesting? Look at that. We were using 2 cores. It was actually running really good. That was interesting. Let me close this. Okay, you know what? I'm done with this remote console for now. Let's shrink that down. What the hell opened up here? I don't even know what that is. Let's just leave this for now. Actually, here, you know what? I'm going to close the Minecraft. Getting to the end of the video now. Thank you for watching. What I wanted to show you here now is that when we go to the remote console, just to check too. Yeah, see now, again, my mouse, what's interesting to note is that it closes that down. Let's see here. Can I type with the keyboard? Yeah, see, so now, remember I was saying that earlier, is that the keyboard and the mouse are disconnected for the remote console. Oh, because they should still be on here. Come on, where's my cursor? There it is. So I should technically still be able to type. Yeah, okay, so that still works. So I can either power the machine down. What you're noticing too, what you'll notice too is that I don't actually have a start menu on this, because with Windows XP we actually only have one start menu, and it's on that main screen, which makes it easier to use. Whenever I open something on here, it usually opens on the other screen, which makes this kind of clunky to use, obviously, as you can just tell from the video. What we do actually have, though, is the remote power shut down and power off. So I'm going to try to do this. We can also reboot the server, but I'm going to... it doesn't usually work that well for doing this. So let's do reboot. I'm interested to see what this does. Apparently nothing. Okay, let's try that again. Maybe because this isn't hooked up to the board. Okay, I know this works here. So we're gonna shut down server and power off. Again, I'm not clicking anything besides my one hand is on here. You'll hear it click. Ready? Hear the click? That's actually triggering the power button. So there it goes. There, it's powering off the server. Attempting to power off the server. And then you'll see that my little 5-volt connection works, because when this actually shuts off here, it will allow me to power it back on with our thing. The only thing is that with the reboot, this doesn't always work. It's kind of finicky. I'm also going to open this here. Here's our remote console, which the window is just black, obviously. There's our machine shut off. Now our virtual power's off. It actually still shows it here that it's obviously that it's powered down. So this is working. For all intents and purposes, it's working here now. I'm going to give it a couple seconds and then try to power it back on. This is where it kind of acts up. Our console is still working here. If I turn this on, yeah, we're going to hear, ready? You can hear it fire back up there. I'll keep my console window here, but then when I bring it over, it doesn't like to reboot that well. It should beep right about now. But then what you'll see is that it didn't actually reboot, even though our disks are starting to spool. Oh, hold on. Sometimes it will beep, but it won't give us a display, which is what it looks like it's doing this time, interestingly enough. And you'll see here our console. It says online, but then if you check out something here, a lot of times what happens is that this will kind of, it'll either freeze on us or it won't give us the display. Like, see if I close this, see at the top here, those loading dots? This means that it's kind of screwed itself up. I can go to remote console, but what's gonna happen is that this isn't actually going to work and it won't let us do anything with this. I can try to force this, that won't even work. So we can shut the server off and we can also turn it on remotely if it works with this, but it's kind of not really that good at doing it. Like you see, we're able to shut the machine down, but the rebooting, yeah, see now it's, I don't even know what that means. It starts to break down. You'll know if that's not actually working because when I open this, if I go back to my, actually here, there it goes right there, just reset again. We'll see this time if it boots up. That's actually, I believe, the card doing that kind of triggers it that it's not working because it doesn't give us the video display. It should, however, boot and post now. That's what I find. It will do this. It will either have a slow post, it will either post normally, it'll have a slower post, or it just won't post at all, and then it will do this reboot. And you can hear the fan running. It's almost like it's trying. Just kind of very strange. Another thing worth noting is that if we look at the remote, the card now, it actually will have that yellow light on it for whatever reason. But this time it looks like it's actually kind of stuck itself pretty good because the fan is running full tilt and it's being very, very interesting at the moment. Let's just leave it and see what it does. So what's interesting to note is that it's kind of stuck. I haven't seen it do this where the fan is just kind of stuck. We have a black screen here. Nothing is actually working. What I'm going to try to do is a virtual power. Let's try to force the power off. I heard the thing click. Okay, so that actually worked. I was able to force the power off. Oh yeah, and there's our relay clicked again. Let's try to turn it on and see what happens. Ready? Again, I've never really played around with it this much. That sounded like a better post. Let's see if it's going to give us the video display. Oh, we might be in business. Okay, that's when it does kind of the double reboot. It looks like my console is still functioning. It should post now. There we go. That sounds better. There's our Asus workstation. Now, let's try to go to our remote console on here and see if it actually worked. Although it might have gotten itself stuck, and I'm maybe not able to connect. Because sometimes it gets itself stuck. Let's see if we reboot this. Again, this is not exactly the best working... What the hell is that? It is not the best working thing. Oh my freaking lord. But it looks like we might be in business here. Let's see. Again, a bit finicky. Let's try a remote console. Aha, there we go. We're back in business. There's our setup screen. Let's hear. You know what? Let's try to go into this real quick. Oh, good. So my keyboard is working again. You'll see now here's our RAID setup screen on the board. Again, I've selected the 2 discs. You'll also see it up there on that. So that's pretty much going to be the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's definitely been a very interesting machine to build. Probably one of the crazier things that I've ever built. But I did really enjoy how this came out. It was something really cool, really offbeat. I've never seen anybody do anything like this before. So again, I wanted to make something that's really interesting. And I think that I did. Now this is going to be uploaded pretty much on New Year's Eve. So I hope everybody had a good year, and I hope everybody has a great year. I try to make videos when I can. But it's getting really hard to find this older hardware. Again, I'm planning to sell my house and move again. So I've sold a lot of my stuff. I kept obviously all my cool machines, but my interesting stuff, it's hard to find. When I do, I like to make videos. So hope you all have a great year. I hope I see you soon and get some new stuff to make some videos on. So anyway, I'm gonna shut the machine off here now, which should shut it down right away. Let's see if we can shut the machine right off. There we go. that's going to be the video. Thanks for watching, everybody, and enjoy. Have a great day.